I'm resilient. I never give up. I keep working till I get the job done. And boy, do they love, like literally, I can see them.
Everybody loves a good quote.
Everybody loves a good quote. Where do I see myself in 5 years? Not at this company, that's for damn sure. But are you gonna go and tell them that? Hell no. If you guys had a pen and paper to hand, I might edit this in at the start. Have a pen and paper to hand. Hey beautiful people, I'm Moni Justin. Welcome back to my channel, and today I am joined by my beautiful sister, Jaye, Moni. You guys can check out her music on YouTube. You guys are always asking me what is my, my theme music. I always tell you it's my sister and a friend of hers. So go check out her music. I'll link it in my description box, and you can follow her as well on Instagram at Jaye Knows. So I've been saying for a hot minute and a bit that me and you are going to sit down and we're going to film this video about how to interview and like the best tips to help you guys get the job you want and climb up the career ladder. So one thing I'm very good at is interviewing. My CV, if I do say so myself, is pretty impressive. So I've got a very strong CV that gets me through the door, but then it's up to me to wow them. And hopefully my sister's got a few tips in there as well that she can share with you guys.
I don't know. Maybe.
Well, I hope you got some, sis. Otherwise, I don't know why you're here. If I ask you, like, what do you think is the most important thing if you're going for like a job interview? Let's not say the first stages. Let's say like you're through like most of the really corporate jobs to have like 3, 4, maybe even 5 interview stages. Let's say you're at the 4th one now. What's the most important thing at this point? They've probably narrowed it down to the top few candidates. What's the most important thing to stand out and set yourself apart from everybody else?
That's interesting. That is a good question, I think, to think about. If you reach that stage of an interview, 4 stages of an interview or 3 stages, it's not easy. So they're looking to make a decision at that point on, basically the decision on whether you can do the job has already been made. They're looking on 100%. A right fit. Right, how you're going to fit into the business, how you're going to add value, and how you can prove to them that that they will make a good decision by giving you the role. And I think if you go into that interview with that attitude, then that's where you really stand out. So that's your personality, shining through at that stage, I think. Okay, so I'm gonna be devil's advocate and I'm gonna call it as I see it. I feel like that's good advice, but it's very generic. Indeed. So what can these guys do to make sure they stand out at that stage? Everybody that's going up for that interview at this point, they know can do the job. What's going to make them think you're the best fit for this company? To be fair, she's just throwing these questions.
I know, right?
She didn't tell me
I didn't do nothing.
I feel under pressure. But, I'm a rough diamond, so I'm made under pressure. It's okay.
Should I give one first and then...
That's a good question.
Okay.
And I think for me, I always go into interviews with one strategy. I understand that people buy people at the end of the day. When it comes 100%. Down to it, people buy people. And when you can think outside of the box, right? When you can think outside of the box in that situation, then I think that you can excel. And because I was the person to think, okay, start asking the team questions, I got through to the next stage. In fact, I actually got offered the job, but they never gave it to me. Just based on that. Long story.
Okay,
long story.
But I think you've actually hit on one of the most important, because I wrote it down, guys. I've thrown my sister under the bus.
Time to think about
but
this.
I've been promising this video for so long, so I wanted to make sure I brought the best advice, and you've touched on one of the most important points that I think if you want to stand out, you have to ask questions. When they ask you, do you have any questions for me? When I first started interviewing, I used to think, well, if I have questions, I don't want to ask them because it will seem like I'm not prepared or I haven't done my homework. No, they want to see that you're curious. They want to see that you've done research about the company. So even if you know the answers to the question, still ask it. One that I always ask is, okay, I've seen that you guys are hiring for my role, but I've seen that you're also hiring for a number of other roles similar to mine. Can I ask, is this because of people being promoted, or is this because the company's expanding? They love that. It's like, yes, we're expanding, we're finding that we're growing by this and this percentage, we're struggling to keep up with the da-da-da. It really gets them to open up, and it really shows that you're interested in the company. Ask questions. So that's a good one. Why is my role available? Are you growing? Blah, blah, blah. Another one I asked on another recent interviews, I noticed that you've recently acquired, this competitor, but this is not an area that you guys normally operate in. So are you actually looking to branch out into this new field, or is it a case of removing the competition? That's such a great question, Mimi. We're actually looking to branch out. We're looking to reach and deliver a full package. So when you said that about questions, they love it. That's probably the most important thing. Ask questions. Plan your questions ahead. You don't want to go there and just start asking stupid questions. Well, you
just said something right there, because asking questions is all well and good, but when it comes to any level of interview that you are ever going to do in your life, plan. Do your research. Plan. Do your research. Be prepared. Prior preparation leads to success. No preparation, you're not even in the game. Okay?
Exactly.
So do your research, and when it comes to research, don't just do like basic research. Like I'm a music licensing manager, okay, and I look after a territory, and I got the job that led me to this job based on one question I was asked. They asked me, what is the name of PPL? I work for PPL PRS. PPL stands for Phonographic Performance Limited. And when she asked me, what do I know what PPL stands for? They didn't know, but for me it was such an easy question. And I answered it, and she was just like, you're like the first person that has ever got that question right. Already then you stand
out. You stand out.
So do your research, okay? Research the competitors, research the company, etc.
Exactly. No. She is spot on. That's another great. Like, I love the fact that I think I brought the right person on because you're on my wavelength. Research. Some people just roll up to job interviews and then they're surprised they didn't get the job. I put hours and hours into preparing for that job role. I go on LinkedIn and I look at what other people that are doing that job role in that company are describing, what they do, the job description every day, their responsibilities, the skills that they've attained. I'm like, okay. When they now send you the job brief, I look through it. I'm like, okay, this is exactly what they want me to be doing. And then I look at my CV. How does my CV match up to this? Because they're going to ask you competency-based questions. What have you done in the past? Give me an example of this, give me an example of that. Make sure you're prepared. Make sure you have the answers that tailor make to suit that job role. If you're going up for sales, they want to know that you're charismatic. They want to know that you're resilient. They want to know that you're a go-getter. Make sure exactly. She's hitting it. Make sure all the skills and all the examples you provide show those characteristics that they're looking for. But also another good thing, understand the company, understand the ethos. Most companies have their value statements on their website. So understand what they're all about, because when they ask you, which they will always ask you, why do you want to work for this company?
Yes, that
one, you're never going to escape that question.
No, you'll always get that.
Link it back to what they said their ethos is. I want to work for because when I was researching about your company, it really struck a chord with me that you guys value this, and this, that you guys are open to diversity. Another one I've used is that your CEO is a woman. It's something that really means a lot to me because I pride myself on
another thing that you could also link in is talk about the company values, the things that shape their culture. What are their values, and how does that reflect your personal values?
Didn't I just say that? Yeah. Like, what's their value statement? What do they say? That's why I want to work for you.
I'm talking about personal values. So like in my company, some of the values that we try and create are passionate about music. Fair play. And standing up for music rights. These are things that we have to embody when we go out and represent the company, okay? So look at the company value statement. Yes, look at their balance sheet. When you get into that interview, why do you want to work for us? Well, I was doing my research and I saw that you made £24 million profit last year. That was a 10% increase on what you did the year before. I think you guys are moving in the right direction, and what a time to be involved. This is what I've done in the past. This is what I can bring to the table. What can you bring to the table?
Exactly.
That's what they want to know, okay?
Exactly. And even on that note, what can you bring to the table? Something that I always found, not like I've used it many times, but I have used it in the past. I once said to an employer, I have met my competition. I met them at an open day, an assessment day, where a recruiter brought all of us into the room and we all met each other, and I knew that these were the people I was going up against. So when it got to the third, fourth stage, final stages, and the actual employer asked me, why me? I said, look, I've met my competition, and I'm not going to lie to you. I know and I feel very strongly that they want a job, whereas I want this job. I want this job because I can see that you guys are growing year on year. I can see that you guys value diversity. I can see that your ethos and your principles that are important to you are very much aligned with what is important to me. I can see that I would be a great fit in this company because I'm resilient, I'm hardworking. You guys have said that you're looking for somebody who's going to go above and beyond, and that is a characteristic that I have embodied in every single job I've ever had. I feel that I can be an asset to your company. This is why I want this job, not just... So yeah, like, don't be afraid to, you know, distance yourself as much from the competition as you can.
I just thought about actually is when you go to an interview, please be prepared to discuss your CV with your own daughters. You know,
imagine, you know, you roll it up and you're like,
remember the years that you put on your CV,
and if you lied,
you said you were doing what you were doing. And understand the things that this, seriously, like, you know, these people see a lot of candidates every day, you know, and, you know, if you're going to be putting things, and they'll be trying to catch you out as well. When it comes to CV, interviewers do that a lot, you know, and also be prepared for all different types of interviewers. They're not all going to be nice and want to have a chat. Some of them are going to want to put you under intense pressure to see the way you deal with things. They might come across as rude. Don't lose your temper. Yeah. And when you genuinely can't remember and don't know, I've been in that position before, doing interviews where they've asked me a question and my mind's gone blank. And, you know, I'm not afraid to say, you know what, so many things spring to mind, but none at all right now. Can we please come back to that, okay? Because then at least you're being genuine. Show yourself. You know, I once went for a job, sis, right? This job was way above my level, way above my pay grade, and I knew it. But they wanted to see me. And I went and saw the job. At this stage, when I got to the interview, I realized the guy had seen many candidates before me. But what was interesting is when I got to where the job was, it was in St. Paul's, and I walked into the office. You know, everything's marble. You know, it's a place that you think, my God, I want to work here. Like, see this every day. Like, incredible. And and the man, you know, we had a chat, and this company was looking for someone who would fit their organization, a nice person, basically, okay, because I didn't do anything special. You dress right, you wear a suit, you know, you know the way you carry yourself. Don't speak in slangs, you know, many slangs. There's a time and a place, okay? When you're doing an interview, be professional. It's so funny how many people lose themselves. They start off well, and then they think they're having a chat with their mate down the block, and then they start bringing all sorts of slang into it. Don't do that. Okay, and basically this guy was gonna offer me the job based on the fact that when I had my cup of coffee during the interview, when I was leaving, I offered to I was taking the cup back to the kitchen, you know. And, you know, he wasn't interested in your skills or experience because they knew they could train you with that. Sometimes they're just looking for the right person. So carry yourself well, be professional, show manners, show courtesy, because you have to work with these people every day and they have to work with you. So, and
I've lost jobs because of that. When I first no, honestly, when I first started interviewing, I just thought, look, I want to show them that I'm competent. I want to show them that I'm hardworking. I want to show them that I can get the job done. And I was just so bulldog confident, blah, 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 that I completely missed out the whole likability part.
Yeah.
And that was the feedback that I got at the end of it. They're like, I'm sorry, but we're not sure you'd fit in well into this organization. Yeah. And after that, I made such a point of it to be likable and to show my personality. Remember, people buy from people, and basically you're selling yourself. Yeah. So what about you is going to make your manners? You know, how you speak. And also, do not underestimate the value of just everyday chit chat. You know, even if you're talking about the weather, talk about what you did at the weekend.
Honey, you just hit on a nerve right there, because rapport. They call it rapport. Rapport will take you far in life.
People will give you a job that you're not qualified for just because they like you.
Okay, and it's funny, like, and this is good advice, not actually just for interviews, but going through life. You know, the amount of random conversations that I have had, and they have actually opened doors for me, you know, weeks, months, years gone by, you know, and people never forget those moments, you know. So build rapport, take the time out to find common ground. You know, when we talk about interview techniques, you know, you know those techniques they teach you about when, you know, when we're sitting like this, look at our bodies, you know,
body
the body
language,
language,
yeah. Don't be
we're
like,
aligned with each other. So read the body language of your employers. It is so true. When you're in an interview and the person talking to you is mirroring your body language, as if to say you cross your hands or you lean back, relax, and they're doing the exact same thing, good, you're building rapport. You say, through your chit chat, you say, hey, I'm not so bad. I'm just like you. I went to that school. I come from there just like you
I
do.
play tennis as well. When do you play?
Like
Maybe we should have...
We're just the same.
Yeah. That's a great point, sis. So a little key thing that I have used quite a few times, and I'm not saying use this exact one, I'm not saying do this because this might not be relevant for every job role, but I was working in sales for a very long time. And as we've said before already, sales, they want you to be financially motivated, they want you to be resilient, hardworking. You know, there are very specific characteristics that they look for in a sales role that may not resonate with other roles.
Right.
So when they ask me why me, I always gave them a quote. So if you have a quote that's relevant to your job role, don't just go and use this one. I always said, Einstein said that it's not that he's so much smarter than everybody else, but that he stays with his problems for longer. And that's exactly what I do.
I remember you told me that.
Yeah. And that's exactly what I do. I'm resilient. I never give up. I keep working till I get the job done. And boy, do they love, like literally, I can see
Everybody
them.
loves a good quote.
Everybody loves a good quote.
You know?
So if you can drop a quote in there that is relevant,
yeah,
you're halfway there, so well done.
Okay.
And can I just say as well, on the job preparation bit, we touched on it already. I've said it before, Glassdoor. I don't go for any interview without looking on Glassdoor first. That has all the companies. You can check what the salary expectations are if you don't want to go in too high or too low. You can check what they're paying other people in that price bracket. But the most important thing as well is people can share what their interview questions were, and I always do this. I get a pen and paper and I go through tens and hundreds even sometimes of what past interviewers have been asked by that company, so I know what to expect. Like, okay, one of the weirdest ones I ever saw was, how do you explain an atom to a child? And that had absolutely nothing to do with the job role, but they just wanted to test and just throw you off balance and see how you could handle it. You can't throw me off balance, darling. I did my research. I was ready for that question. So go on Glassdoor and make sure that you know you're ready. See what they're asking. Find out as much as you can. Another key point that I would say to you guys is make sure you know what is out there when they search your name. All employers will Google you, will Facebook you, will LinkedIn you. What is out there? Make sure you don't have some kind of next level porn tape or anything. I don't know what you guys might be doing, but make sure that when they search for you, nothing you wouldn't want them finding is available, because that can be a reason why you don't advance to the next stage. Another thing I will also say, guys, is negotiate your salary. If you're going for a corporate job, don't just take the first, you know, offer that's on the table, because that's something I always used to do. And I realized I had so much power. Even if they say we can't put any money, you know, okay, then give me more holiday days off.
Exactly.
You know,
it's
give me
about
more
salary.
Exactly.
Negotiate through other things, holidays, car allowance.
Exactly.
You know, etc.
You know, your different benefits and packages. Negotiate, because they can always do more than they're offering you. Trust me on that one. And I'd say again, just be confident, be likable, smiling, that's key. Make eye contact. My sister said as well, know your CV. You need to know your CV. And the most important thing about that, I would say as well, is if there's anything on your CV that you feel like is going to be a cause for concern, address it. Don't wait for them to bring it up. If you know there's like a year where you weren't working, address it and give them the reason why you weren't working. Oh, I was traveling, I wanted to have international experience. Spin it. Even if you were at home unemployed, spin it. I wanted to have international experience.
And then at that point, bring in all the valuable lessons. If we're all through the interview process, just remember that you were trying to show those people what you can bring to their organization, why you are right for the job. So, of course, you know, even if they brought up a difficult question, you know, oh, I can see there's a year blank on your CV. Yes, yes, indeed. You know, I've been traveling. I actually got to see this part of the world. I got to meet so many people. I developed my linguistic skills. It taught me how to interact with people. It taught me how to
all walks of life.
For all walks of life, yeah. You know, all channels. You know, this is what you did. People are so afraid to talk about themselves in interviews. So funny. Like normal day life, they will talk about themselves all day long. Put them in an interview, you know, and they will have a CV 8 pages long and they can't tell you 5 things they've done.
Yeah.
You know, that's ridiculous.
And another one that they will always ask, and this one I think is a bit tricky, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Absolutely.
I'm
glad you said that.
That one will always come.
I lost the job because of that. And they actually told me, you know, they asked me that question and they gave this really nice long answer. And then she said, you know what, you never even mentioned this company in your answer. Rookie mistake. I will never make that mistake again. Don't make that mistake.
Yeah.
Yes. Talk about the nice things you want to do through your life, but where do you see yourself in that company in 5 years is what they're asking you, okay?
And that's another thing I've said in the past to you guys. Don't be afraid to lie. Now, people will say, is that type of advice you want to give? Where do I see myself in 5 years? Not at this company, that's for damn sure.
Don't say
but
that.
are you going to go and tell them that? Hell no. Lie if you need to lie. You know, say, I've seen that, you know, the natural progression of this company is national account manager, and that's exactly where I want to go. I see myself progressing. Another good one that they love, don't ask me why, is I want to purchase a property or a second property or a third property. For them, that shows stability, and that shows that you'll probably be around for a while. Exactly, because you need to be committed to that dream. So these are things that, you know, don't ever go and say, oh, I want to go traveling. In 5 years, I want to be living in Spain. You know, because they will not give you the job. If you need to lie, lie, okay? But they want to show you to show that you're committed to them. So talk about what the natural progression in that company is, and talk about, you know, your lifelong goals that show commitment and stability.
You know, so do your research, understand the company culture.
Yeah.
You know, try and fit in, not stand out.
Yeah, so like if you're going for a job at Google or Facebook, you're not going to go in a suit because
they're
their
gonna
culture
look at you like,
is
nah,
completely
he's not one of
opposite.
us. Yeah.
So yeah, exactly. So yeah, I feel like we touched on everything there. I hope this is useful. I hope you guys had a pen and paper to hand. I might edit this in at the start. Have a pen and paper to hand. If you do all these things, I see no reason why you wouldn't get the job. I've used all these tricks and tips in every job role that I've gone for, you know, especially the quotes. Everybody loves a good quote. So I'm Mimi of Just Doing Me. I have my beautiful sister Jaye Moni on with me today. Show her some love in the comment section. Let me know if you guys have any other tips, tricks, hints that work really well for you guys. Share the love, because I want to see all of us moving on and moving up. And don't forget to negotiate your salary,
especially us ladies.
Yes, we never do it. Know your worth and then add taxes. Okay? Sweet. Catch you guys soon.
Know your worth and add taxes.
Know your worth and then add taxes. So make sure you guys are subscribed. I'll catch you guys soon. Ciao. Hey.
Starting real hard cause life is too short. Yeah, shout out to Too Short. Living my life, I'm moving through blocks and running through walls and never give up.